Namaskaram everyone. Welcome back to mathematics webinar. Today, Ushasri madam, who has already dealt quadratic expressions and complex numbers from mathematics 2A, is here to present a new topic, De Moivre's theorem. It is really an extension of what you have learnt in complex numbers, and I request you all to make a note of all the important points that madam is going to cover in this session, and then also practice all the questions that are given at the end. Over to you, Usha madam.
Thank you, madam. Good morning, everyone. Here I am with a new topic, children, De Moivre's theorem. The extension of complex numbers, what we have seen in the previous sessions. So in complex numbers, we have seen the general form of a complex number. Then we have seen modulus amplitude form. We have seen what is modulus, what is amplitude or argument of a complex number, which we are going to use in this chapter, De Moivre's theorem. And not only that, we have seen the Euler's form of a complex number e power I theta. Based on that, also we will see certain concepts in De Moivre's theorem. Now, today's concepts, what we are going to see is De Moivre's theorem for integral index. We'll try to see the proof of the De Moivre's theorem. Then we'll see what are nth roots of a complex number. When a complex number is given to you, what is this nth roots, okay, of that complex number? And we will try to see the application problems on De Moivre's theorem and also nth roots of a complex number. Now, as I was mentioning right in the beginning, this is an extension of the topic complex numbers. So yeah, I think the second point here says nth roots of a complex number. You can understand this, isn't it? Now, De Moivre's theorem for integral index. The theorem statement says like this. If n is an integer, then cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta. Okay, this is the theorem statement. According to De Moivre's, he says, if you have cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n, where n is some integer, then you can always write this as cos n theta plus I sin n theta. Now we'll try to go with the proof, children. In proof, we have three cases. First, we will try to see what is case 1. Now, see, when we are saying an integer, when we say n is an integer, integer can be a positive integer, it can be a negative integer, or it can be 0, isn't it? So first we will try to consider case 1 where n is a positive integer. Now, when you have n as a positive integer, the proof what we are going to take is by the concept of mathematical induction, what you have seen in your first year. Okay, now hope that you are very familiar with mathematical induction concept, children. Mathematical induction, whenever we are proving a statement by this process, we will always follow 3 steps. Hope you remember that. The first step, what we have is, we will try to prove the given statement for n is equal to 1. And the second step, what we take is, we assume, I'm using the word assume, children. We assume the statement is true for n is equal to k. And after that assumption, in the third step, we will try to prove that the statement is true for n is equal to k plus 1. Now, when a given statement is satisfying all these 3 steps, then we say the statement is true for all n by the process mathematical induction. So we will try to take up the same thing for this statement also, children. So suppose we are taking n is a positive integer, we'll prove the theorem by mathematical induction. The theorem statement is cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta. My first step in this, okay, as I said just now, mathematical induction includes 3 steps. So step 1, what we take is let n is equal to 1. When n is equal to 1, let us take LHS part. LHS is just to substitute n is equal to 1 here on your left hand side. Then cos theta plus I sin theta whole power 1 you will be getting. Isn't it? So base is cos theta plus I sin theta whole power 1. So it is nothing but cos theta plus I sin theta. Now we'll try to take RHS. RHS is, what is RHS? Cos n theta plus I sin n theta, isn't it? Instead of n, we are substituting 1. So cos 1 theta plus I sin 1 theta. 1 into theta is anyhow theta. So you are left with cos theta plus I sin theta. That means your LHS and RHS both are same. Then we can definitely say the statement is true for n is equal to 1. That means we have completed proving the statement when n is equal to 1, the first step. Okay. Now in the second step, as I was mentioning, we will assume, isn't it? So let us assume that the statement is true for n is equal to k. When we are assuming that the statement is true. Okay. So instead of n, we will try to substitute k. So the statement becomes cos theta plus I sin theta whole power k is equal to cos k theta plus I sin k theta. Okay. Let us call this as equation number 1, children. Then we will go for step 3. We'll go to step 3. The step 3 says multiply equation 1 with cos theta plus I sin theta on both sides. Now the question is why we are multiplying with cos theta plus I sin theta on both sides. See, if I multiply the left hand side with cos theta plus I sin theta, then the left hand side becomes cos theta plus I sin theta whole power k plus 1. As I was mentioning, in step 3, we will try to prove the statement for n is equal to k plus 1. Okay, children? Then we will just multiply the left hand side first. So cos theta plus I sin theta whole power k into cos theta plus I sin theta. This is equal to cos k theta plus I sin k theta into cos theta plus I sin theta. Now we'll try to expand this right hand side by multiplying the terms. When I multiply, you will have this as cos k theta into cos theta, which is cos k theta cos theta plus I sin k theta into, cos k theta into I sin theta is I into cos k theta into sin theta. Then we will multiply I sin k theta with this whole bracket, children. Then we have I sin k theta cos theta, product of these two, plus I into I, which is I square sin k theta sin theta. Hope you got this. Then we already know I square is minus 1. This is what we have seen in complex number topic, isn't it? So instead of I square, we will substitute minus 1. When I substitute, children, what happens to this term? It becomes minus sin k theta sin theta. That means this I term disappears. When it disappears, what does it mean? It comes to the real part. It comes to the real part. It comes under real part of the complex number. Okay. So I can rearrange the terms like this. After the substitution of I square equal to minus 1, we will get cos k theta cos theta minus sin k theta sin theta. This is the real part, plus you have the imaginary part. See these two terms, clearly I cos k theta sin theta and I sin k theta cos theta have I terms. So when you take I common, you can always rewrite this as sine k theta cos theta plus cos k theta sine theta. Now, before we go to the next step, I just want you to throw some attention on the two brackets what I have taken in this step. Now, the first bracket, it's taking the form of a formula what you have in the trigonometry topic. And the second bracket also comes under trigonometry with compound angles, children. All right. So I can replace this first bracket cos k theta cos theta. It's looking like cos A cos B minus sin A sin B, which is nothing but cos of A plus B, that is cos k theta plus theta. And the second bracket sin A cos B plus cos A sin B, which is nothing but sin of A plus B form. So we can rewrite this statement by substituting the formula as cos of k plus 1 theta plus I sin of k plus 1 theta. Why this k plus 1? Because I said cos k theta plus theta. When you take theta common, it will be k plus 1 into theta. And here on your left hand side, you have cos theta plus I sin theta whole power k into cos theta plus I sin theta, which can also be written as cos theta plus I sin theta whole power k plus 1. Now, just observe this step, what we have taken in this box. See, in the statement of De Moivre's theorem, we had n, isn't it? Now, instead of n, you are getting k plus 1 here. And instead of n here, you have k plus 1. That means we can always say the statement is true for all positive integers n. Therefore, cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta. That means we have proved the statement when you have n as a positive integer. This is your case 1. Okay, children? Then case 2. Case 2, we will take when n is equal to 0. I said when we take n as an integer, we have 3 cases. One case is positive integers. Next case is 0. And then next is negative integers. Okay. Now, second case, what we are taking is n is equal to 0. When n is equal to 0, let us take the LHS part of the statement. Then cos theta plus I sin theta whole power 0. That means instead of n, you are putting 0, children. Anything power 0, it is 1, isn't it? So your LHS is 1. Then take RHS. Your RHS is cos, instead of n, you're just substituting 0. Cos 0 into theta plus I sin 0 into theta, which is nothing but cos 0 plus I sin 0. What is cos 0? It is 1. What is sin 0? It is 0. So 1 plus I into 0, which is nothing but 1. Now clearly your LHS and RHS both are equal, isn't it? So we can say the statement is true when n is equal to 0 also. Okay. Now the last case what we have, case 3. Now we'll take n is a positive, a negative integer. We have taken positive case, we have taken 0, and the last one is negative integer. See, what is the difference between a positive and a negative integer? Positive integer with a plus sign, the same value, when you take minus in front of it, it becomes a negative integer, isn't it? So I can always write n as some minus m, where m is a positive integer. That means positive integer with a minus sign in front of it becomes a negative integer. So we are just trying to write n as minus m, where m belongs to z plus. Z plus here, z means the integer set. Right, children? So cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is nothing but cos theta plus I sin theta whole power minus m. Why? Because I have taken the value of n as minus m. So we are replacing it with minus m. Now, when you have minus in the power, isn't it? Because of this minus, you will get a fraction, that is a power minus 1 is 1 by a. Likewise, cos theta plus I sin theta whole power minus m becomes 1 by cos theta plus I sin theta whole power m. Now, whatever may be the problem, we were mentioning something about removal of I from the denominator whenever you are dealing with any complex number. Now, clearly, if you can observe this, I is there in the denominator. So we need to remove this I from the denominator by multiplying the denominator and dividing it with its conjugate. Now, before we go to that, there is one more step to be taken. What is it? Cos theta plus I sin theta whole power m. Here the value of m is positive, isn't it? For positive integers in case 1, already we have proved that De Moivre's theorem is satisfying. That means we can apply De Moivre's theorem for the denominator here. Okay. So when we do this, you will have it is equal to 1 by cos m theta plus I sin m theta. Now we don't have any power, children. Now this is simply a complex number. By applying the De Moivre's theorem, we got it as cos m theta plus I sin m theta. But we cannot have I in the denominator. Therefore, we will multiply this denominator and divide this with its conjugate. So I'm multiplying and dividing it with cos m theta minus I sin m theta by cos m theta minus I sin m theta. Okay. Then we have this as 1 into cos m theta minus I sin m theta is cos m theta minus I sin m theta divided by, in the denominator, it is of the form a plus b into a minus b. So we can write it as a square minus b square. So cos square m theta minus I square sin square m theta. But what is I square? I square is minus 1. When you have minus 1, children, this minus and this minus 1, it becomes plus. Cos square m theta plus sin square m theta is 1. Why? It is one of the identities in trigonometry. When the whole of the denominator is taking the value as 1, you will be left with the answer as cos m theta minus I sin m theta. This is a very important step, children. And in many of the problems, when you're solving multiple choice questions, every time when you have 1 by cos m theta plus I sin m theta, you need not multiply and divide with its conjugate and then simplify and waste your time. Okay, directly you can write this as cos m theta minus I sin m theta. This you can consider it as a formula also. This we will see in coming slides. So we have calculated cos m theta minus I sin m theta. Now we can always rewrite this as cos of minus m theta plus I sin of minus m theta. See, cos of minus theta is cos theta. Sin of minus theta is minus sin theta. So cos m theta minus I sin m theta can be always replaced like this. But what is minus m? Minus m, we have taken it as n. So minus m, we are replacing it with n. So cos n theta plus I sin n theta. Where did we start with? Cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n. And we got the solution as cos n theta plus I sin n theta. That means the statement is true for all negative numbers also. Right? So it means that we have completely covered the total integer set. That means the positive integers, the negative integers, and also 0. Therefore, we conclude saying that for any real number theta and any integer n, cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta. A very, very important solution, children. This is a proof. In the previous years, Sometimes they were asking the proof also, but we are more interested in the theorem statement. Okay. Now we will try to see some formulae based on this de Moivre's theorem. Cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is cos n theta plus I sin n theta. This we have proved just now, and we can always write this as cis n theta. Next, cos theta plus I sin theta whole power minus n. Right? We were discussing in case 3, isn't it? So we can always write this as cos n theta minus I sin n theta. Hello. Hello, madam.
Usha madam.
Madam, am I audible and visible?
No, your screen is not visible.
Actually, this is disconnected, madam. I don't know why.
Okay. We'll sort it out.
Okay.
Children, please stay tuned. There is a technical issue. We are resolving it.
Madam, I hope I'm visible now. Hello.
Please on your video, ma.
Yes, madam.
Your screen is visible.
Okay. Is it all right now?
Yes.
Yes.
On your video.
Yes, I did it, madam.
Go ahead, Usha madam.
Yes, madam. Sorry, children, there was a technical issue. Now let us start with the formulae of what we have seen in De Moivre's theorem. Cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n is equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta, which is equal to cis n theta. This was a theorem statement what we were proving in the previous slides. And cos theta plus I sin theta whole power minus n. That means when you have a negative power, you can write it as cos theta minus I sin n theta, which is cis of minus n theta. This is the shortest possible way what we can represent instead of writing all this, children. Then cos theta minus I sin theta whole power n can be taken as cos n theta minus I sin n theta, and this is also equal to cis minus n theta. Cos theta minus I sin theta whole power minus n is equal to cos n theta plus I sin n theta, which is equal to cis n theta. Then cis theta 1 into cis theta 2. That means cos theta 1 plus I sin theta 1 into cos theta 2 into I sin theta 2. That means when you have a product of two complex numbers in the form cis theta, then it is nothing but cis of theta 1 plus theta 2. Then if you have a power which is in the form of a rational number, cos theta plus I sin theta whole power p by q, this can be taken as cos of p by q theta plus I sin p by q plus theta, like what we have taken for integers. Okay, for rational numbers also we can apply De Moivre's theorem. Then cis theta 1 by cis theta 2. If you have, see here we have seen the product, here you have the division. Okay, then it can be taken as cis of theta 1 minus theta 2. Then sin theta plus I cos theta whole power n is equal to I power n into cos n theta plus I sin n theta. Now we'll try to see what exactly is this, children. See, whenever we were representing a complex number, the complex number is always taken in the form of cos theta plus I sin theta. But here, if you observe the LHS of this formula, you have cos theta in the imaginary part and sin theta in the real part. Okay, so to write this in our general or the standard form, we need to multiply this with I, or sometimes I square, depending upon the problem. Okay, now if I multiply this with minus I, if I multiply with this with minus I, then look at this, minus I sin theta plus minus I square cos theta. It becomes cos theta minus I sin theta. That means you are trying to change the form of the problem in the form of the general complex number, that is cis theta form, by multiplying with some I term. Okay, that I term what you are multiplying will be decided with the power n what you have. Now, if the power is 2, you will multiply with I square. And if the power is 3, you will multiply with I cube, and so on. So that you will get this form of the problem. Okay, we will try to look into this application of this formula in the coming classes, children. We'll look into a problem if A is equal to cis alpha, B is equal to cis beta, C is equal to cis gamma. These are three complex numbers which are given in modulus amplitude form, children. I want you to observe this carefully. We are not given with a complex number in the form of x plus iy. Okay, we have three different forms what we have discussed, right? So he has given one more condition, a by b plus b by c plus c by a is equal to 1. Then find cos of alpha minus beta plus cos beta minus gamma plus cos gamma minus alpha. We need to find this value. Okay, so you are given with a condition a by b plus b by c plus c by a is equal to 1. We will substitute what are a, b, c in this condition. You have cis alpha, cis beta and cis gamma as a, b, c respectively, isn't it? So we will substitute that. We have it as cis alpha by cis beta plus cis beta by cis gamma plus cis gamma by cis alpha equal to 1. We have seen a formula just now. Cis theta 1 by cis theta 2 is equal to cis of theta minus theta 1 minus theta 2. So we will apply the same formula, children. So we have it as cis alpha minus beta plus cis beta minus gamma plus cis gamma minus alpha is equal to 1. Now I'll go with the expansion of what is this cis. Cis is nothing but cos alpha minus beta plus I sin alpha minus beta. In this step, I am rearranging the real and imaginary terms separately. So I will pick up all the real part from these terms. So you have cos alpha minus beta plus cos beta minus gamma plus cos gamma minus alpha plus I into sin alpha minus beta plus sin beta minus gamma and sin gamma minus alpha, which is equal to 1. 1 can be taken as 1 plus I into 0. If you compare the real part with real and imaginary with imaginary, then you will have it as cos of alpha minus beta plus cos of beta minus gamma plus cos of gamma minus alpha is equal to 1. This is the condition which is asked. Now, if he is asking the imaginary parts, that is sin of alpha minus beta and so on, then that answer will be 0. Okay. This is the direct application of the formula what we have seen here in this box, children. Now, we'll look into nth roots of a complex number. What is this nth roots of a complex number? If you have z is equal to r cis theta, that means a complex number is in the form of modulus amplitude, then you can always write this as z power 1 by n is equal to r power 1 by n into cis 2k pi plus theta by n, where k is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on till n minus 1. That means if you are, for a given complex number, if you are taking the nth root, then it is equal to r power 1 by n into cis 2k pi plus theta by n, where n is telling you the nth root here, what you are taking, and the value of k will be decided with the value of n. Like if n is 4, then k takes only the value up to k 4 minus 1, that is 3, starting from 0. That means k will take the 0, 0 starting from 0 to the value where you will get n minus 1. That means if k is n is equal to 3, then what will be the value of k? It will be 0, 1, 2. Isn't it? 1 less than the value of n. Now, depending on this formula, z power 1 by n is equal to r power 1 by n into cis 2k pi plus theta by n, we will try to look into what is nth roots of unity. The roots of the equation z power n minus 1 is equal to 0 are called nth roots of unity. Okay, why it is nth roots of unity? If you take z power n, it is equal to 1. That means if you want to calculate the value of z, it is 1 power 1 by n. And the nth roots of unity will be denoted by 1, alpha, alpha square, alpha cube, and so on, alpha power n minus 1. Totally, you will get n roots, children, starting with 1. Okay, now where your alpha value will be taken as e power 2 pi I by n, which is also cis of 2 pi by n. What is this form? This is Euler's form. We have seen z can be always taken as e power I theta form in Euler's form of a complex number, isn't it? So alpha is one of the roots of nth roots of unity here, what we are taking, and instead of theta, we are taking it as 2 pi by n. 2 pi by n. 2 pi is the deciding factor here because the functions what you are taking here, cos and sine, they have a period of 2 pi. Okay, e power 2 pi I by n. Okay, so this is nothing but cis theta, that theta is nothing but 2 pi by n. Now, once you get the value of alpha, you can always calculate what is alpha square, alpha cube, alpha power 4, and so on. Depending on the value of n, the number of roots what you are getting will be decided. Next, the product of nth roots of a complex number. Now, suppose if you have n value as 3. Okay. Now, how many nth roots you will get for that complex number? You will get 3. Right? Now, the product of those 3 complex numbers, the 3 roots of that given complex number will be given by the formula -1 whole power n minus 1 into z. That means this bracket part and 1 power anything, isn't it? It gives either -1 or +1, depending upon the power here. So the complex number multiplied with -1 or +1, depending upon the n value, will give you the product of the complex number. You need not calculate what are all the 3 roots and then multiply and then give the answer. Directly you can make use of this formula. Next, the sum of nth roots of unity is always 0. You add all the roots, whatever you are getting for a given complex number, the nth roots of unity, then it will be always 0. And you will be taking the general form of sum of nth roots of unity, children. That is sigma k is equal to 0 to n minus 1. Cis 2k pi by n is equal to 0. This sigma stands for summation. What summation you are taking? Sum of all the terms which are of the form cis 2k pi by n. Okay, what is n? The nth root what you are taking for unity. What is k? K is the value which is starting from 0 and ending with n minus 1. Okay, you are adding all the terms of this form by taking the value of k as 0 to n minus 1. When you add all that, the answer will be 0. Then nth roots of unity form a GP, a geometric progression, with the common ratio alpha. See, just now we have seen when we talk of nth roots of a complex number, whether it is unity or a complex number, we have taken it as 1, alpha, alpha square, alpha cube, and so on. Now, 1, alpha, alpha square, alpha cube, clearly they are in geometric progression. And what is the common ratio? Alpha by 1 is alpha. Alpha square by alpha is alpha. That means the common ratio is nothing but alpha. Then modulus of each of nth roots of unity is 1. Whatever nth root you are getting for unity, for every nth root when you take the modulus, it is always 1. Okay. And the last conclusion what we will see here is nth roots of unity differ by an argument 2 pi by n. That means the difference of angle from one value to the other is given by 2 pi by n. Based on these conclusions of nth roots of a complex number, children, we will see few problems. If alpha power 5 is equal to 1, then find the value of 2 power mod of 1 plus alpha square plus alpha power minus 2 plus alpha power minus 1. This is the problem. Now we will consider 1 plus alpha square plus alpha power minus 2 plus alpha power minus 1. First we will solve this, then we will take the whole of the problem. We can rewrite this alpha power minus 2 as 1 by alpha square and alpha power minus 1 as 1 by alpha. Now take the LCM, children. Your LCM will be alpha square. Then you have alpha square plus alpha by alpha square, which is equal to 0. Why it is equal to 0? Just observe this carefully. What you are getting is 1 plus alpha square plus alpha cube plus alpha power 4. Here you have alpha power 5 is equal to 1. That means you are taking fifth roots of unity. Fifth roots of unity, that means what will be fifth roots of unity? 1 alpha square, alpha cube and alpha power 4. Isn't it? N minus 1, alpha power n minus 1 is nothing but alpha power 4. The numerator is nothing but sum of all nth roots here for this particular problem. Our nth root is 5 here, fifth root. So the numerator is 0. So 0 by alpha square is nothing but 0. Therefore, 2 power mod of 1 plus alpha square plus alpha power minus 2 plus alpha power minus 1 is equal to 2 power 0, which is equal to 2 power 0. What is 2 power 0? Which is nothing but 1. This is one of the bit questions in MSET, children. So you can make use of the concepts what we have discussed in nth roots and solve this type of problems. We'll see one more. If alpha is a non-real root of x power 6 is equal to 1, then find alpha power 5 plus alpha cube plus alpha plus 1 divided by alpha square plus 1. Now, you are given with alpha power 6 is equal to 1. When alpha power 6 is equal to 1 or x power 6 equal to 1, then what is x? X is equal to 1 power 1 by 6. 1 power 1 by 6. That means we are taking sixth roots of unity. What will be sixth root of unity? They will be given by 1 alpha square, alpha cube, alpha power 4 and alpha power 5. Hope you got this, children. Then sum of all this is 0. That means 1 plus alpha square plus alpha cube plus alpha power 4 plus alpha power 5 is equal to 0. Now, we will consider the problem which is given to us. Alpha power 5 plus alpha cube plus alpha plus 1 by alpha square plus 1. Right? Something is missing to here in the numerator to substitute our sum of nth roots of unity. So that we will add and subtract. What is missing here? Alpha square is missing. Alpha power 4 is missing. So we are adding alpha square and alpha power 4 and we are also subtracting. When we add this, the first bracket, what you are seeing is a sum of the nth roots of unity, children, which is 0. So you have minus alpha square plus alpha power 4 in the numerator from which we are taking minus alpha square common, then you will get alpha square plus 1 in the numerator by alpha square plus 1. So we can cancel these two and you will be left with minus alpha square. The next question, if cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma is equal to 0 and it is also equal to sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma, then show that cos 3 alpha plus cos 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma is equal to 3 cos of alpha plus beta plus gamma, and it is equal to sin 3 alpha plus sin 3 beta plus sin 3 gamma is equal to 3 sin of alpha plus beta plus gamma. And lastly, we have to prove cos of alpha plus beta plus cos of beta plus gamma plus cos of gamma plus alpha is equal to 0. Now you are given with two conditions in the problem, children. One is cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma is equal to 0. The next condition is sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma is equal to 0. Now, if you consider cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma plus I into sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma, it will be equal to 0. Why? The first bracket gives you 0 and the second is also 0, isn't it, from the given condition? So this whole statement is 0. When I get this whole statement as 0, I can always write cos alpha plus I sin alpha plus cos beta plus I sin beta plus cos gamma plus I sin gamma is equal to 0. We are rearranging all those brackets. Then the first bracket can be taken as cis alpha plus cis beta plus cis gamma is equal to 0. Now for our convenience, we will try to substitute cis alpha as x, cis beta as y, and cis gamma as z. Now clearly, the statement what we have here can be taken as x plus y plus z is equal to 0. Now we have one condition in polynomials, children. If you can recollect your previous classes, the schooling, isn't it? If you have x plus y plus z is equal to 0, then you can always write it as x cube plus y cube plus z cube is equal to 3xyz, right? So this means cis alpha cube plus cis beta cube plus cis gamma cube is equal to 3 cis alpha, cis beta, cis gamma. Just we have substituted xyz in this formula what we have. Then just try to observe each and every term on your left hand side. This is nothing but your De Moivre's theorem application. That means you have cos theta plus I sin theta whole power n form, which is nothing but cos n theta plus I sin n theta. So we can write this as cis 3 alpha plus cis 3 beta plus cis 3 gamma. And look at your RHS. This is product of all cis terms, isn't it? Cis theta 1 into cis theta 2 is nothing but cis of theta 1 plus theta 2. So we can write our RHS as 3 into cis of alpha plus beta plus gamma. We will try to expand this, children. We will have it as cos 3 alpha plus I sin 3 alpha plus cos beta plus I sin 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma plus I sin 3 gamma, which is equal to 3 into cos of alpha plus beta plus gamma plus I sin of alpha plus beta plus gamma. Now you will try to compare the like terms, that means real terms with real and imaginary with imaginary. Then you will have it as cos 3 alpha plus cos 3 beta plus cos 3 gamma is equal to 3 cos of alpha plus beta plus gamma. And all the I terms, if you take sin 3 alpha plus sin 3 beta plus sin 3 gamma is equal to 3 sin alpha plus beta plus gamma. Now, since you have cis alpha is equal to x, cis beta equal to y, and cis gamma equal to z, you can, if you take 1 by x, it is 1 by cis alpha, which is nothing but cis of minus alpha, or we can also write cos alpha minus I sin alpha, isn't it? So likewise with beta and gamma also, when you calculate 1 by y and 1 by z, 1 by y will be equal to cos beta minus I sin beta, and 1 by z will be equal to cos gamma minus I sin gamma. Now, once we calculate 1 by x plus 1 by y and 1 by z, we will consider 1 by x plus 1 by y plus 1 by z, children, which is equal to cos alpha minus I sin alpha plus cos beta minus I sin beta plus cos gamma minus I sin gamma. Now, try to bring all the real terms and imaginary terms separately in two different brackets. Then you will have cos alpha plus cos beta plus cos gamma minus I into sin alpha plus sin beta plus sin gamma. Now, clearly the two brackets, what you have, the values of this, they are given as 0. So just substitute 0 minus I into 0, which is nothing but 0. What is 0? 1 by x plus 1 by y plus 1 by z is 0. That means when you simplify this statement, you will get xy plus yz plus zx is equal to 0. Now, you know what are x, y, z values, children? Just substitute in this statement. That means cis alpha into cis beta plus cis beta into cis gamma plus cis gamma into cis alpha equal to 0. So again, applying the formula, you will get cis of alpha plus beta plus cis of beta plus gamma plus cis of gamma plus alpha is equal to 0. Now expand this. Cos of alpha plus beta plus cos of beta plus gamma plus cos of gamma plus alpha plus I sin alpha plus beta plus sin beta plus gamma plus sin gamma plus alpha is equal to 0. That means the real part is 0 and imaginary part is 0 on your right hand side. Okay. So just compare the values, children. You will get cos of alpha plus beta plus cos of beta plus gamma plus cos of gamma plus alpha equal to 0, and sin of alpha plus beta plus sin of beta plus gamma plus sin of gamma plus alpha equal to 0. Right? So this is the problem, a very important problem for 7 marks. Okay, so this is clearly based on two important formulae, children. One is cis theta 1 by cis theta 2 and cis theta 1 into cis theta 2. And not only that, we are making use of some algebraic formulae what you have studied in your previous classes. We'll see another problem. If 1 plus x whole power n is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2x square plus so on plus an x power n, then show that number 1, a naught minus a2 plus a4 minus a6 plus and you have
Usha madam, you're audible. Could you please check your audio?
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
So shall I repeat this again, madam?
Yes, ma.
Okay. So children, let us just look into this. 1 plus I whole power n is equal to a naught plus a1i plus a2 into minus 1 plus a3 into minus I plus a4 into 1 plus a5 into I plus a6 into minus 1 plus so on. Now here children, instead of I square, I cube, I power 4, we are just substituting their values. That's how we are getting the bracket part. Okay, so 1 plus I whole power n is nothing but a naught plus a1i minus a2 minus a3i plus a4 plus a5i minus a6 plus so on. Now we are separating the real and the imaginary parts. Then we have a naught minus a2 plus a4 minus a6 plus so on plus I into a1 minus a3 plus a5 plus so on. Now 1 plus I, we are trying to reduce it in modulus amplitude form. The formula for calculating modulus is R is equal to root of x square plus y square. What are x and y? They are the real part and imaginary part of the complex number. Then here the real part is 1, imaginary part is also 1. So 1 square plus 1 square, which is nothing but 2 under root. So the value of R is 2. Okay, and we have the formula tan theta is equal to y by x for calculating the value of theta, isn't it? So we can always write tan theta is equal to 1. This implies theta is equal to pi by 4. Okay, then 1 plus I can be taken as root 2 into cos pi by 4 plus I sine pi by 4. Then what is that we have? We have 1 plus I whole power n. That means I should take power n on both sides for this given statement. For the statement what we have taken here. Okay. Then 1 plus I whole power n is equal to 2 power n by 2. That means root 2 is 2 power half whole power n, which is 2 power n by 2 into cis n pi by 4. When you are expanding, you will get 2 power n by 2 cos n pi by 4 plus I into 2 power n by 2 into sine n pi by 4. Okay. So what is this 1 plus I whole power n? You have it as a naught minus a2 plus a4 minus a6 plus so on plus I into a1 minus a3 plus a5 and so on. This is equal to 2 power n by 2 cos n pi by 4 plus I into 2 power n by 2 sine n pi by 4. Now, we are comparing the real and imaginary parts on both sides, children. Then you will have it as a naught minus a2 plus a4 minus a6. All this is equal to 2 power n by 2 into cos of n pi by 4. And a1 minus a3 plus a5 minus a7 plus so on. This is equal to 2 power n by 2 cis n pi by 4. Now, this problem is again a bit question what I have seen in one of the MSET and JEE mains paper. So please go through this solution once again. If you have any doubts, children, you can always post the doubts. We will try to clarify in the coming sessions. Now here are some practice questions. You can take a screenshot of the practice questions. The questions what I've given here, the first question is for 7 marks. The problem what I have taken for 7 marks in today's class is similar to the first question. Second and third, they are generally for 2 marks. and a direct application of the formulas what we have seen in today's class. Hope you will do this and you will find them easy also. Thank you.
Thank you, Usha madam.
Thank you, madam.
In spite of technical issues, you have cleared all the doubts and you have actually explained it in detail, and students haven't expressed any doubts. Sorry, children, we had some technical issues for twice. We regret for the inconvenience caused. We'll meet again in the next session. Stay tuned for another interesting session, students. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
మంజరి మేడం, మహేష్ గారు ఉన్నారా?
యా సార్, ఉన్నా సార్.
మహేష్ గారు
సార్ ఉన్నా సార్.
మీ వాయిస్ కొద్దిగా బాగా లో వస్తుంది
సార్. ఇప్పుడు
ఇంకొద్దిగా మైక్ సెట్ చేసుకోండి.
ఓకే.
బాగా లో ఉంది, ఇందాక మార్నింగ్ ట్రయల్లో కూడా. ఇప్పుడు మాట్లాడండి.
హలో.
కొద్దిగా గట్టిగా
మాట్లాడుతా సార్.
శైలజ మేడం.
సార్ ఒక్క నిమిషం కాల్ చేస్తున్నాను, మేడం ది నెట్వర్క్ పరిధిలో లేదని వస్తుంది.
ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం, నో టెన్షన్.
వి ఆర్ ఆన్ లైవ్ కొంచెం మనం.
వి ఆర్ ఆన్ లైవ్, అందుకని జాగ్రత్త. ఉషశ్రీ గారు మీరు లీవ్ అవ్వచ్చు.
ఓకే సార్.
మహేష్ గారు మీరు స్క్రీన్ షేర్ ఇవ్వాలా? మహేష్ గారికి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ ఇవ్వండి మేడం ఈ లోపల.
అంటే ఈ సెషన్ మనం క్లోజ్ చేసి మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ సెషన్ కి వెళ్దాం. అంటే వాళ్ళది మళ్ళీ కంబైన్డ్ వస్తుంది. ఇప్పుడు జువాలజీ చూడాలంటే మళ్ళీ మొదటి నుంచి మ్యాథ్స్ నుంచి. ఐఎమ్ కాలింగ్ మేడం.